హలో హలో సార్ వినపడుతుందా? సార్ ఓకేనా?
జాన్ బాయ్
సార్ ఫర్నిచర్ డోర్ దగ్గర రండి ఒకసారి. మాట్లాడమను. మైక్ లో మాట్లాడితే కరెక్ట్. అక్కడ డిలే ఉందా? కొంచెం డిలే ఉంది సార్. కొంచెం డిలే ఉందా?
వస్తుంది వస్తుంది బాగా. అదెందుకు ఇప్పుడు నీకు
వైఫై నేమ్లో ఉందో చూస్తాను.
మైక్ మ్యూట్ లో లేదు, ఈ వాయిస్ వస్తుంది కదా. నువ్వు ఇక్కడ మాట్లాడదు వస్తుందంటే ఓకే కదా, వాళ్ళని గట్టిగా మాట్లాడదు సరిపోయి. అదేంటి అదెందుకు పెట్టారు స్క్రీన్? లైవ్ అటెండ్ అవుతుంది.
స్టూడెంట్స్ పెట్టారు.
క్లియర్గా బా ఒకటి తిరుపతి గారు, నేను లైవ్ లో ఉన్నా, మళ్ళీ మాట్లాడతాను ఆడిటోరియంలో.
వచ్చేయండి.
Go that side.
Sir, I'm
If you want to go that side, why are you doing all this?
अब सुन ना मेरा
And joining me is Nalini, hosting today's event. On behalf of the organizing team, we cordially welcome you all to the prestigious development dialogue on transforming marginalized sections through digital financial literacy as a part of Amrit Kaal Vimarsh, Viksit Bharat Lecture Series. Amrit Kaal Vimarsh, Viksit Bharat at 2047 is the popular lecture series embraced by student community across India and IPs privileged to host revolutionary dialogue under this overarching theme of Amrit Kaal Vimarsh, Viksit Bharat at 2047, sponsored by Indian Council of Social Science Research, IPSSR, Patanjali. Just to bring color to our world, a distinguished guest and add intellectual vibrancy to this gathering. The program organizers have crafted an atmosphere that radiates this very vibrance. Allow me to welcome our program organizers and distinguished guests onto the dais. Dr. Swati Madhu, Assistant Professor, IP. Dr. Director, Institute of Public Enterprise. Ms. Tanaka Mushahari, Raj, Professor B. Sudhakar Reddy, Honorary Director, ICSSR, Professor Janaki Ram, Director, IDEA. Without any further delay, let's move towards our journey of intellectual exchange of thoughts. May I now request Professor Ramakrishna from the organizing committee to deliver his welcome address. Professor Ramakrishna is the Professor Institute for Public Enterprise, Hyderabad. He holds a PhD in Management Science from JNU, Hyderabad, and had a mix of IIM Ahmedabad and an MBA gold medalist in Calcutta University. For short stints, Professor Ramakrishna worked in two extreme countries, one the USA, a developed nation, and other was Ethiopia, a poor nation. With these experiences, he realized the role of financial education in economic resilience of the nation. Currently, under the able guidance of Professor Srinivas Chukri, Director, IPE, and along with Dr. Kalyandu and Dr. Swati Madhu of IPE, is working on financial education and digital financial literacy. In the year 2023, he trained about 600 faculty members and thousands of students on various topics related to pedagogy, research, career planning, and career. We welcome.
As a part of Amrit Kaal Vimarsh Viksit Bharat 2047. I welcome our chief guest, Professor Janaki Ram, for here to deliver lecture, and also Professor Sudhakar and Professor Tamanna, and our Honorable Director, Professor Srinivas Madhu, who is actually spearheading this entire program from last 1 month. And also my colleagues, Dr. Swati and Dr. Kalyan. This program on Viksit Bharat is a futuristic program that is funded by the government of India. Now, the idea is that in the past 75 years, that is, India gained its independence in the year 1947, and from then 75 years, India achieved a lot. That is, an economy which is dependent on foreign countries or dependency to self-reliance. Now, in the coming 25 years, there is the Amrit Kaal, which is termed as Amrit Kaal, in the 25 years, from 75 to 100 years. By the time we reach 100 years, that is 2047, India is aiming at a 30 trillion economy from currently of 3.7 trillion economy. So in the process of this converting the economy from 3.7 trillion to 30 trillion in the coming 23 years is a complete task, but it can be possible. So at the IP, under the guidance of Professor Srimasmurthy, me and Kalyan and Swati, we will contemplating on what is that we can do in the country so that by the time India reaches 2047, we get about 30 trillion economy. So normally in India, what is happening is there is a divide. In the sense, on one side, if you see there is a lot of a demand for luxury cars and all. On the other side, we see that the government of India providing free vehicles to 81 crore population in the country. On one side, we see a fintech happening in the country. On the other side, we see that very few people, in the sense, are using financial technologies for investment. And similarly, one side we see a lot of bank accounts which are operating there, but studies say that 90% of adults who are holding a bank account are illiterate. So this divide is there, the clear divide is there. Now, through this development dialogue, we are planning is we are trying to see what can be done, what strategies and what suggestions that we are going to make here. So we invited Ms. Tamannaji, the regulator, she came from RBI, and she is going to give input from the regulator perspective. Then we have Professor Sudhakar Reddy, an economist, and he's going to share his views from the economics perspective. And then our chief guest, that is Professor Janaki Ram, who is a technology person and leading the IDBR team, that is providing the banking technologies. So he is instrumental in many banking revolutions in the country. And in addition to that, we have our own Professor Srimasmurthy, who is an expert in financial inclusion. So with this cohort, we expect that this is going to be a learning stage for one and all. And from the outcome of the program, we will get some inputs which help us to advise to the government or to the agencies where some of the transformation can be done. So thank you very much. It is welcome note. I invite you all for the lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You have perfectly set the tone of the development dialogue, gearing up. May I now request our beloved Director of IT, Professor S. Srinivasmurthy, to share his valuable thoughts. Professor S. Srinivasmurthy is currently a Professor of Finance and Director at the Institute of Public Enterprise, Hyderabad. He is a passionate educator in the field of finance, renowned for his extensive contributions to academia, research, training, and consultancy. With a robust academic background, including a master's degree in commerce from Sri Venkateswara University, master's degree from international business from Pondicherry University, and a UGC DRF called doctorate degree in finance from University of Madras. His journey has been marked by relentless dedication and expertise. Professor Murthy is widely respected in academic circles, having made a lasting impact through his engagement as a visiting faculty at institutions like IIM Coimbatore, IIM Indore, NIT Warangal, IIM, JNU, and many more universities of Turkey. His portfolio of conducting over 100 management development programs for senior and middle-level executives showcases his prowess in imparting practical wisdom and strategic insight. He has undertaken consultancy assignments for a spectrum of distinguished organizations, including the World Bank, Asian Development Bank, Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India, as well as various central and state level public enterprises, providing concrete solutions and policy directions. Beyond consultancy, his academic endeavors span the authorship of 15 books, numerous course materials, and plethora of articles in esteemed journals, conduction of several conferences, symposia, and workshops in various areas of finance, exemplifying his unwavering commitment to disseminating knowledge. Professor Moody's expertise spans across corporate finance, project appraisal, and financial services, and has a special interest towards financial inclusion. His noteworthy contributions in the sphere of financial inclusion encompass significant endeavors, notably an ICSSR-sponsored major research project entitled Bank Credit, Microfinance, and Financial Inclusion, Progresses, Challenges, and Way Forward. Additionally, he authored a comprehensive book on financial inclusion and supervised a PhD thesis exploring the determinants of digital banking adoption in the aftermath of demonetization. His contributions to the realm of education and finance have garnered prestigious accolades such as the Dewan Maheta Award for the Best Professor in Financial Management, CSR Eminent Director of Leading Institute India Award, and Business Leader of the Year. Sir, welcome you.
We are likely to we are not talking very important topic, which has been widely discussed and widely written in various forums, and as a professional of student, and we have spent 75 years of independence. Now, and the remaining period to 2047, what we call the computer. So the targets are being fixed by the government that after completing 100 years, India will be direction to the entire world. The recent G20 summit, funded by India, funded by India, and funded by Prime Minister, gave direction to the entire world that India is a country which can actually provide direction to the entire world. India has done very well in various areas of the IT sector and many of the service sector also. Many of the migrant companies they have in IT companies for the service. So it is outsourced destinations for the world, and it is a yoga, it is a destination for the world. And amongst all the things that and first of all, I say start for money project. The fact of course, there are many things out there. Whatever government wants to do, directly work on. Young one goes on, many kind of work are open, and there is a sector called as industry, micro, small, and medium sector. So through the governments are being provided a lot of support to the people who like to start their own enterprises. They who are the financial inclusion. So basically, financial inclusion says that we should provide opportunity to all. see the financial matter, first of all, have a matter, and also understand the various financial systems available, and more so in the case of digital financial literacy. The demonetization was a difficult subject, but it has shown opportunities for us in the form of online payments, online transactions. You will be happy to know that India is far ahead of the development countries because of digital financial literacy. We're able to see every day, even a small bit of person has what UPI payment mechanism. We do not carry cash with card, simply our mobile. These are able to do anything. So that is that we are going in the direction in this context. We have as part of our call given back to 2047, we thank Rice itself for responsibility. And I also thank all the Professor Margaginalized Janaki Ram and Madam Tamana Garu for taking the valuable time. Tamana Garu and all the way from Mumbai. And Sudhakar Garu was kind enough to support the event in one of the leading economic in the country. And he is helping many institutions to run the social science research and other areas. So with this, you got a very compliments and with Ramakrishna, Swati Manur and Kalyani for support India, to support them. And thank you all for being present here. We thought that you are going to the future. So you should understand the policy and the right work to the people who are working on the leadership. On the one hand, they are working of all these schemes and also facilitator of various banking rules and regulations. And also we have Janaki Ram Garu. He is heading an institute. It is RBI institute again. It is meant for technology development for the banking sector. So he is the right person to start on digital financial literacy. And we have Madam Tamana at the RBI institute. They have been doing that. So what is the progress that has been happening? And from Sudhakar Garu, he has done a lot of research into some sciences. So he will be sharing his perspective. And I'm sure that at the end of this program, will be benefited and will actually play a greater role in taking India to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for shedding light on the vital role of financial inclusion and resilience shaping in this. Sir, as always, it's great listening to your insightful comments. Our guest of honor is Samana Mishra, Deputy General Manager, Financial Inclusion and Development Department, FIDA, Reserve Bank of India, Central Office, Mumbai. Tamanna Mosharali is currently Deputy General Manager in Financial Inclusion and Development Department, RBI, Central Office, Mumbai. She has done her MBA in International Studies from JNU. Ms. Tamanna Ji has joined RBI in 2005 as a Grade D officer, director. She has a vast exposure in the area of financial inclusion and literacy, currency management, and consumer protection. Currently, as DGM in FIDA Central Office, her scope of work includes policy-related work on manner in which financial literacy can be enhanced and supported to aid in achieving financial inclusion. We welcome the ma'am.
first of all, benefit from the dais. I think I'm the least qualified here because everybody on the dais is professor. I'm not a professor, but yes, I do work with the background. Probably I'll talk about my experience in terms of what I have witnessed in the area of financial inclusion and financial literacy. And I would really like to thank the organizers for inviting me here. Coming from Mumbai I was trying to do it digitally online if possible, but I think what Ramakrishnan sir said, physically present is actually much better because we get to see whether the audience is actually paying attention. So presentation visible to me, I mean, also what the entire life visually, but that might result in some. So just to set the context here, I was telling Professor Swati and Professor Kalyani in the morning, digital financial literacy is really a small subset of the overall financial awareness that we are looking for, overall financial literacy. You see the last 25 years, the progress in your digital transactions has probably been taken off for the last 8-9 years with UPI, QR, and coming forward, maybe CBDC. So, digital financial literacy, is just a subset under the overall financial literacy, article. So, what I will be speaking today is basically what has impact value in the area of financial literacy. Because we must understand one thing. Financial literacy, financial inclusion, consumer protection. These are all three things that we can say lead to financial stability. Because one cannot do it. You cannot have financial inclusion or you can only have X amount of financial inclusion and not. You cannot go further unless you have financial literacy. Financial literacy and financial inclusion together will require consumer protection. So, given this three aspects of what idea has been doing, and how we have progressed in the area of financial literacy, and how we are trying to now look into challenges that we can try to overcome the lack of financial awareness in people and digital financial literacy. Here I'm looking forward to some ideas. So, I'll be very honest, digital financial literacy, we don't have a specific policy. Let's say we have a policy to what a bank for. So I'd like to keep this as short and sweet as possible. We have an investment in the idea. So in the context here, how many of you have heard of this brand before? How many of you have not heard of this brand before? Oh, like I said, first. Just to give you a context, when you were established, in 1955. At that time, it was privately owned, and then it was nationalized in 1949. It is now owned by the GOI, and it is governed by the Central Board of Directors, which is headed by the government. Now, main functions of the Reserve Bank of India as a monetary authority, regulators and supervisor of the financial system. And so, 1941, we are the regulator, we are the regulator for banks, NBFC. So, whatever we say the bank or NBFC, they are supposed to follow that. Management of foreign exchange, we also impose rules that govern what amount of FDIs will come in, what kind of export and import transactions, amount of money that is coming for that. One of our major roles is the issuer of currency. So, if you look at your currency code, it is printed by the Reserve Bank of India to import in India, and it is our responsibility to distribute those currency to the bank's currency debt. And it is also our responsibility ensuring that we have clean notes all the time and that we don't have to pay for quality. Then you have the developmental role, which is where I come from. Regulator or the supervisor of the payment system, as will be rightly mentioned. Payment system, we are one of the leading people in terms of our transactions, the amount of payment that happens. People who have actually engaged and then you have the other related functions, for example, consumer protection, you have enforcement department. So all of these functions are done through various departments. One of them is the financial system. Now, again, in the small context, It seems a mouthful, FIDP, Financial Inclusion and Development Department, with the idea of like, we are reaching everywhere, everybody is having a bank account, everybody is doing very well. But it's at the tone, section 54 of the RBI Act basically says that RBI will increase. It's for staff to study various aspects of rural development and even tender assistance and guidance. Now, please understand here, Financial Inclusion and Development Department. From the nationalization in banks in 1969 in the United States, one can actually say that financial inclusion actually started taking place. And I assume here that nobody is belonging to that age, probably exposed to our diets and 1982 as a form. At that time, we did not have that much of bank. So the first step of financial inclusion, at that time, because your population was also farmers. So the first step towards financial inclusion is to have robust architecture. So 1969, 1980, we started seeing the nationalization of banks. You had more banks, you had bank opening branches everywhere. RBI stipulated how many branches you could open, how many you could open in areas, how many you could open in areas. So that was sort of over from 1969 that we start really bad to open our branches because ultimately we need to focus on financial inclusion. Financial inclusion came subsequently because at that time we didn't have the infrastructure at that. Then you have what we do in our department is credit flow to private sector. This is a very vital part which comes to how we are literally financial inclusion. I'll talk to that. Then you have financial inclusion and literacy. If some of you can actually get the time, please visit our website. You will find the National Strategy for Financial Inclusion, which is NSFR, and National Strategy for Financial Education, which is NSFE. It basically sets forth certain objectives, what we want to do, what are the stakeholders supposed to do. Please remember, financial inclusion cannot be done, or financial literacy cannot be done in silos. It is a concerted stakeholder network. Everybody has a role. We also look after, give directions. When I say look after, it basically means that we give directions to banks. Okay, to what kind of sector we are. Then we are talking about the marginalized section. So our instruction also covers certain areas where certain marginalized sections like the minorities, women, what kind of funding they should get, under what heading, under what priority sector they should get this funding, to make them also get included into the financial system. Then you have credit flows to agriculture and agriculture. All of this, please remember, these are not just disadvantaged sections, but these are also disadvantaged sectors. Because banks naturally have a tendency to go for the more profitable business. So unless you stick away, you may give this 1% of your funding to agriculture. That particular credit flow will not go into those sections. And then you will not have financial inclusion. Financial inclusion happens for competition with that. Now, what do I want to tell you about the credit flow to private sector? Now, some of the weakest sections that have been covered here are in agriculture, which is the small and marginal farmers, which are those farmers who are vested in land. Then the private sector also covers social infrastructure and renewable energy. And you must tell me why this is important, renewable energy. Why is it that we are focusing on this? You must have heard of the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. Anybody has heard of that? So, Sustainable Development Goals are we are trying to see how environmentally friendly we can. So, RBI has also stipulated that to extend those to certain borrowers, to various corporates, up to a certain quantum for social infrastructure. For example, construction of public toilets, then renewable energy, such as micro-hydro power. So all of these are things which have happened over the course of 10 to 15 years. Because otherwise you cannot leave these sectors aside, because the minute you leave these sectors aside, you're also leaving sections of population. I hope I'm clear. Okay, maybe I'll ask you a couple of you some questions after. Then you also have credit flow to micro enterprises, like Sita mentioned, and this is also a big role needed for us. Majority of employment happens in that. It's a very good area where employment opportunities can happen, investment can happen. MSME is also an area where we take banks and we have to give certain amount of funding or certain portion of their advances to them. So private sector basically means, for example, the bank is lending 100 rupees, 40 rupees has to go to the private sector. In this, we have advances to the weaker sections, the marginalized sections, minority communities. And that's around 20% mature, the banks should go there. This is something which is applicable to commercial banks, to foreign banks with more than 20 branches, to RRBs, to other corporate banks to follow. So RBI has been telling, and this came out as early as 1980, where it has been banks that we start, encompassing these particular houses. And how are all these monitored? Now, I didn't really know this, there is something called a lead bank state. Now, Telangana has how many districts? 33. So in 33 districts, you will have one bank, which is the lead bank for that district. So it could be SBI, it could be Canara, it could be UPI. So the role of this bank is that it will see how much credit flow has happened in the sectors in that district. So this is the infrastructure way back in 1969 that Reserve Bank of India had to place for the lead bank scheme. So one of the goals of the lead bank scheme, which has now happened over a period of 60 years, has been that besides now looking at paisa kaha ja raha hai, the correct people or not, we also look at government sponsored schemes. How many beneficiaries, how many women beneficiaries, how many SCST are getting government sponsored schemes. We also look at financial literacy. Can the banks, in the past, banks have become financial literacy centers. You have to target certain groups for financial literacy. So all this is done by something called the lead bank scheme, in which the bank is the lead bank in every district. And incidentally, officers from the Reserve Bank of India, we also travel to the districts as lead district officers to attend these meetings and see where there is a potential change things or where there is a gap. I will come to that in my subsequent slides. Now, why are we focusing on private sector? Like I said, it's a necessary step for financial literacy. You have to have private infrastructure, then you have to target credit flow in the sector so that people have to are not being included in the financial sector gets included. This all helps in the financial sector to joining but let me say, for example, 1950 was your first step, or first phase. You had bank maximization, you had the private sector guidelines, you had the assessment. I think not all. Then you have the establishment of RRBs, regional rural banks. I think there are few in Telangana, if I'm not mistaken. So if you look at this, the first phase was all about availability, accessibility. How am I going to get products accessible to all? Because after all, what is financial inclusion? Has anybody heard what is called financial inclusion? Pardon? Yeah, that's in a way correct. So not just banking, because we have other financial services also. So it's basically availability of accessible financial services to neglected section at affordable cost. Very simple, but very good answer. Because banks are your biggest players here. Your other financial services like insurance, pension, demat accounts, mutual funds, all Indians go to banks, even if the regulators are different. So very good answer. So this is the reason why you have financial institutions. You cannot have certain corporations being given all the access to financial products, to financial infrastructure. At a marginalized section, you will not be given the chance to get access to those products. Am I clear to now? Okay, moving forward. Phase 2. Now somebody talked about basic banking. So opening of no frills account was here. Is there anybody who does not do a bank account? Okay, a few years ago, much more people of bank accounts. Marginally, see all the young adults have bank accounts. So opening of no frill accounts was open for very basic with just minimum deposit, minimum balance that is required, with very liberalized KYC, one who has one deduction. That is the idea of making account, so that people who did not probably have enough documentation to open accounts. So your Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana, that was actually one such scheme in this kind of system. You open accounts, you get people who are either not bank, give them a chance to take a bank, give them those accounts. And once the transaction, let's say, goes beyond 50,000, then the entire KYC gets activated. Then you have something called this DC model. Now, has anybody here had the opportunity where you didn't have to go to a bank came with, let's say, a small POS machine or something like that? So, business correspondent model was something which the Reserve Bank of India brought up, which said, I cannot have a branch behind it all. It's for branches of so how do I bring that to you? I have something called a business correspondent model, where individuals who are trained how to use a POS machine are given basic training as how to open bank accounts. They are positioned in different places or they go to different houses. Also, I think there are challenges because you want to need connectivity for this. Connectivity is also needed. So you still have some pockets where it needs to be brought back to the headquarters for connectivity. But this was a game changer in the area of financial inclusion. Because now banking no longer became inaccessible, banking became somewhat accessible. Then you have the simplified branch authorization policy. Earlier, RBI would state for every 10 branches, every one branch, 10 branches. That is now we have said you open banking outlets, something which will at least function for 4 hours or 5 hours to 8 hours during the day, so that at least people can come to your branches. So no need to open for scheduled branches. Then improvised KYC now, in fact, very recently we have also come up with something called video KYC. So we are trying to do this digitalism in that area also where we have video KYC. So that was the second phase, was improving necessary basic banking infrastructure. So first we have channelizing credit. As you want to channelize credit, you also need people who come as a basic infrastructure. And then phase 2 onwards is when technology really started moving. So I remember when I joined the bank 18 years ago, at that time internet banking was a main thing. We were just learning user ID, internet banking and everything. Now I just need my phone and I need a QR code, I can make it. It was something which is unfathomable at that point of time. Going forward, as CBDC might also come into play over there. But every step of this requires people to get more Indian financial aware of the products around them. Because 18 years ago, we was still picking on internet banking, check, draft, GCS, electronic services. Then for now 5 years, on currently we are picking on UPI, we are picking on many IMPS, a lot of short forms here, a lot of acronyms here. And tomorrow we have to figure out what the crypto be, what the CBDC. In fact, today actually, tomorrow when CBDC comes out, if CBDC comes out, it will be something that will be a game changer for all. Then we have differentiated banking licensing. I've already spoken about commercial bank licenses. Then you have the regional banks. Then we came out also with policy for opening up small finance bank, which is small amount, and payment bank will only job possible standardized payment. So these are all areas which have embraced technology for growing financial inclusion. Concomitantly, side by side, we also need steps to improve the financial inclusion. Now, anybody has heard about the global fintech report? Fintech report by the World Bank. So periodically, there is a report that World Bank brings out talking about financial inclusion across countries. So this one, India, I think the sample size is probably around 5,000, 6,000, for the exact figure, or maybe more also. But here, what was found in the area of financial inclusion? And again, you must be wondering if it is financial inclusion. But very related. This is the four areas where probably you need to work on your financial literacy, followed closely by digital financial. Because for digital financial literacy, like I was telling you, that you basically need to first digitally literate, right? So worldwide, account ownership has been 76% of the world. That means the number of adults who have accounts, and 71% of these adults are being developed economies. There is a gender gap in mobile access, obviously, because you have to see, family, usually the female get the mobile phone, the housewife, and then without mobile phones or have mobile phones just for the basic calling purposes, all that. I don't think India, this is very crucial, did not use their accounts for three main reasons. Distance from a financial institution, lack of trust, and lack of need. So lack of trust is where you want to try working in terms of digital financial literacy or financial literacy. Now, distance from financial institutions, somebody might ask me this question, just now you talked about these models and how they are reaching the last mile, so why should this problem be there? There are still pockets, despite government initiatives, despite RBI initiatives, where the connectivity issue we are still not being able to reach, or it still takes people around, it's around 20 kilometers from the nearest track. Then we have financial inexperienced users may not be able to benefit from account ownership if they do not understand how to use financial services in a way that optimizes benefits and avoids consumer protection risk. The big mouthful of the sentence, but this basically translates to what I say. That if you are financially included, I need to be aware of this product because I know how to use this product, but within this product, what is the risk to me as a consumer? Am I aware what is happening if I share my CDD with someone, if I share my user ID and banking details with someone? What is the risk to me as a consumer? I can easily access the bank, but I also need to be aware that is where literacy comes into the picture as to what is the other side of using these products as a consumer. So this brings us to the need for financial literacy. And here, I would really urge all of you to read one speech by one of our former district governors, Mr. Bhutan, who basically, in his experience, categorized literacy different forms of literacy. So one is something called what he coined the term as wise literacy. Alright, so he said, given the entire space of the consumers that we have different kinds of literacy in the country, which broadly say wise literacy. Now these are literates who are wise. I mean, I know really very little with the concept of study, but I still want to scam. Have any of you heard the scam where somebody, especially women, actually fall for this, because there is sometimes somebody from the block who like a conversation with this request for getting married, and then from there you come here and take money for discussing clearance and all, and the person ends up giving all the money, even though there is something of doubt, why am I giving this money? Then there will also be cases where you would have received after what you put a lock of 10 million pounds and you need a clearance from RBI. Has anybody received that message? No? None of you have received a message saying you have 10 million pounds from Bank of England, or that, one person alone. Did you give that money? Did you give everybody any money? No. So, Reserve Bank of India's name is obviously means that you need to, this proper letterhead, writing at the farm, letterhead saying you need to give this much money, and this is how you will get the money. So, these are wise illiterates who fall for the scam, going to believe that there is some probability to the scam. Then, of course, we have the three given illiterates. And who are these people? These are people who just want more money. Who do not bother about various kind of what are the scams involved. So multi-level marketing schools are one such areas where people want to keep money because I'm gathering 5 people are making money. These are great business. Then there is the third thing called the information deprived illiterates. Now I have some amount, I know I want to take a housing loan, but I don't know what goes into taking a housing loan, what is the business bank offering me, floating rate, what is this? So this all the items. There is a definition for a rapidly urbanizing society. Not a good people will go into the working areas. You might need consumer loans, you might need housing loans, you might need loans to the bank. To come into the idea as to which is a good product for you, and the way to be there, among that information right to the things. Then you have the actual internet interests. You have more formal education. All right, so you have a lot of children, women, persons with disabilities who are away from the formal education. So very simple, they want to have even the financial literacy. In fact, RBI is trying to bring financial literacy as part of formal education, starting from the school level. I will come to that shortly. And then, of course, you have what we term as kindergarten literacy. So I will not go on into so these are the people we can target. So the three people that we can target are the information required literates, the kindergarten literates, and of course the digital literates. So all the three would require a very different sort of contextualizing of financial literacy. Coming back to the financial literacy. Like I said, more financial inclusion is happening, more access points are being given to you, more products are being given to you. So how do I make the appropriate choice? Usually, product change, product. So as more and more financial inclusion happens, there is a requirement for more and more digital. Okay. Coming to that, you also need to enhance your customer protection. Tomorrow, you need to protect yourself from frauds, from suddenly money gets deducted twice, what you do, where you go, you can get it immediately. Or you should be aware of the customer protection. Now, always get hesitation. Now, if the disability sections have a problem in accessing these financial services, because of, problem situation. I don't know that, I don't know the system of markets. I don't know that these problems are lost because there is a bad manager sitting for a parts that I don't want. There is a hesitation for me to say these products. And that happens partly also because I want to what my rights as consumer are. Okay? Now, not only should I be able to choose the product, I think it's demand the product. Not if I want housing loans and bank is not giving me a good rate. I should be able to demand a good rate or I want that fee. So that question comes where I am able to demand the product that I want. And somebody talked about resilience. That has become a very important concept after the COVID pandemic. What is the need for financial literacy? It's not just, ultimately, I've got credit, I've opened my entrepreneurship, and I've been able to, be a consumer, buy products, contribute to the company. I also need to be financial literacy. This as a concept, the devastation that they also life. Many people found that they do not have the required amount to be financially resilient. So not only does financial literacy enable you to make proper choices of product, it should enable you to keep aside some money for choice. So this is another meaning of financial literacy. Now, someone's talking about definitions, and it's very important to define what are all this. And here the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, which is the PEACE, has defined it. I will not go into detail. If you can offer financial literacy for the definition of financial literacy and financial literacy almost the same. It's a combination of knowledge, skills, attitude, behavior that are necessary for individuals to be aware and safely use digital financial products. So you not only have to be aware, you need to be told how to safely use it. Because you cannot be sent the same thing. There are CPA later. I want to do this transaction, take my CPA. This is actually something happened to me. I got a call from a credit card company. It happened to be the Mastercard SBI. And they said, I have 4 million, 4 lakh, Palana. In a very quick voice, she said, now please share the CVV number on the back of your card to make it an enabled person. So anybody who wants to have an enhanced rate limit, they were not aware, they were just responsible to teach it aside. That's part of my job. So maybe money if I would invest in how it has to be. I cannot use daily consumer protection because I think there are ways where you will be used at every possible time. And see, you people are looking up to be able to take it. That is something that becomes very important because you need to know how to safely use the financial services so that you can ultimately contribute to your financial well-being. So we talk about the concept of financial well-being. Now, the same organization, just imagine how important financial literacy has become worldwide, that we have an international network of financial education under OECD called OECD. That they talk about building a digitization of this. So I think some of you are doing something for DFS on paper. So I think we should see this couple of reports. They are very interesting, very well thought out, very well researched. They have come up with policy guidance. These are policy guidance for various regulators, community policy for digital financial institutions. Okay. So just to touch upon one small thing here is that the rationale behind this was offering more convenient, faster, secure, and timely transaction. And what to do for competency when we use PFS, digital financial services, you should have a trust in PFS. I should be able to trust UPI to do my transaction. I should be able to go into an ATM and do my transactions as savings and so on. So you want to empower customers, including the most vulnerable, to counter the new type of exclusion. Now, one option of being so digitally included is that your data profile, your data profile account, how many of you have Instagram account? How do you notice that when you do some search, that same thing comes on your Instagram? If I'm searching for this pair of sneakers, Instagram suddenly takes me up all these things. So this is something that I can based on so you have had consumers from the marginalized sections are talking about it about this or why these other is not telling about this. She might understand why I was doing various she might understand it. She has probably wants to be and just wants to be. So digital profiling is a very it's a risk that one is taken into consideration when you financial services. You also want to protect consumers and small businesses from increased vulnerability to crimes such as phishing scam. You know, you have so many phishing scams, you have phishing, there's something called phishing also, which is a QR code based fraud. All of this is available on the RBI website. I urge all of you to be aware of it. It's a very well nicely represented about the scams that happen. So the idea behind digital financial literacy is that you should have idea of the safety. The last thing here is that how supporting financial resilience can happen through digital financial literacy. As I mentioned, what is financial literacy? You should have appropriate decisions and engagement mobilized. COVID pandemic, two of that for us. Massive job losses, people lost the breadwinners of their household. What could this support be on? So slowly your financial literacy policy to focus on not just saying कैसे आप रुपया use करते हो, how you use a debit card. It will also about the two proper budget. Save for a rainy day. Invest in new products. So this is all to build financial resilience. Okay. Now, in fact, if you notice the COVID pandemic, to some extent, demonetization also brought us back from the we also had digital transmission of normal of the hospital transaction. Now, coming to where I work, what has been done? How to try to target. So I already spoken with intensify and SSP. Okay, the strategies which we have adopted for increasing stakeholder cooperation and this will continue. Then NCLT. So there's a lot of acronyms here, I will come to it. And what are the various things that RBI departments do. So national strategy for financial inclusion, we are in 2019-24. We are also going from device to the next 1 to 5 years. This is nothing but basically create various stakeholders, various jobs for the purpose of universal access to financial services, basic bouquet of financial services, not just banking, insurance, pension, maybe provident fund, access to livelihood. So we have the national rural livelihood issue, which is a very, very good scheme for us. How do you bring more and more people into that goal? Consumer protection, financial literacy and education, how do you formalize financial education so that people become more aware of financial products, and effective coordination. The NCI priority target all of this, so that ultimately financial inclusion is actually achieved not in the just in the sense of Khata Korea, but Khata Korea is what can more a person do. I'm sorry, the aspects are complicated. Then national strategy for financial education. So one would probably imagine we have so much of strategies before our education. Yes, it is not probably a very perceptible result, but imagine this, 20 years ago we did not have this. 2005 when I got to that, and when I was posted to, so I had the experience of being posted in financial information development department in 2008, when it was called the pre-tracking credit department, and now when I'm posted, and I was also in Guwahati to compare in the same department. The change in your focus was amazing because at that time you had just started financial inclusion. You were just starting to increase access. You can just start scratching the surface of financial inclusion. And now here we are creating strategies for all stakeholders to pursue national strategy for financial inclusion, creating policies for financial inclusion. So we have gone a long way because 20 years, 15 years ago, we did not have all this strategy. So you want to basically the vision is of financially aware and empowered India. It's a very massive challenge and all of this strategy, how to use that. So here there are strategic objectives. I'm just going to touch upon one or two. You want to use financial concept. You want to say the data in a stateless manner. You should know your rights and duties and avenues of even redress. So these are a few objectives that you want to frame in your national strategy or national education. And it focuses on something called the 5 C's. Content, capacity, community, communication, collaboration. It's a lot of things I know, because we C's what. But this is basically what we want to do in our national strategy. How do we improve content? How does that content include aspects of consumer protection, digital connection? How do I prepare on content, whether in the college education, college curriculum, school curriculum? Capacity, how do we develop capacity? Because not everybody can, get up and say, I'm going to take a session of financial literacy and what is the QR code, what is the media? You need to build capacity. You need to have trainers who can build capacity. You need to have community, a community-based approach. Like I said, you cannot work in silos. So, one of our projects actually called the Center for Financial Literacy. We are trying to make community a part of our financial literacy efforts. I'll come to that. Communication. Now, I can come to the end around 45 minutes. So, communication becomes very important aspect in very financial. Collaboration, like I said, you cannot work alone. Banks cannot work alone. RBI cannot work alone. We all need to listen for our efforts. We need to collaborate at different levels of study. So this game in 2018, or actually we came up with a very interesting concept or an institute called the National Center for Financial Literacy. Now this is one such not-for-profit company which is really doing its best to try and promote financial education, financial literacy, and also trying to promote digital financial literacy also. So they have various target groups, school children, college students, and then you have also making content by this. NCLT has a lot of resource persons who can actually help in following up with financial literacy and with financial literacy. So please, I urge all of you to please see the website. It's very interesting website with a lot of content. This is RBI direction to banks. You will establish something called the financial literacy centers to do financial literacy of tri-target groups. Please. Yes. Partnership. We have actually taken this step in 2017, where we have told certain banks and certain NGOs that actually collaborate. As of today, we have 1,600 creators and corporates around the country who do all of the financial literacy, including digital financial literacy for AEO. We have public awareness campaigns, RBI Intranet, University of budget connect to various ads. In the same thing, we have a lot of curated content. I'm telling you to see because we see all this how we also have our RBI officers going and doing programs. It is on the minimum side because across the country we have 500 officers. Our range is limited. So we did some for national one lakh, state level, zone level, or you can see some finals over there. Then we have tailored financial awareness messages which we have done. Then RBI specific we have a department of electronic banking and awareness programs, basically talking about what particular digital payment products, awareness of fraud and justification. So this is another department which does a lot of work in data and coming to consumer protection. This is something important for all of you. You need to be aware that there is something called the convenience. You have deficiency of service or some bank or some financial institution has not done things well. You can complain first to the institution and within 30 days they don't get back to you. You can complain to the Bank of India. So this is the consumer education and protection that I was talking about. You can lodge complaints in your state.RBI.org. Now, challenges. All protections have inherent challenges. There are no systems technology, not just hybrids who are not to their technology, they also want to focus, how do you target it? So all the challenges has the way forward also. How do you teach the people who are open enough but are not enough? What do you do with them? Now, what about the women? What about the senior citizens? When they go to an ATM, they need help from a passerby to tell you to pay paisa, how do you address them? How do you bring trust in technology? How do you address linguistic diversity? I mean, these are questions which I'm going to challenge, and these are areas and work for. I myself belong to the state of Assam. I have Assamese on one side and a tribe connected Bodo on the other side. How do you address linguistic diversity? Changing paradigm, we have people coming in, we have CBDCs coming in. How do you catch them young? And how to innovate financial education? How much more can you innovate financial education? So finally, you want to address the last mile, which is the disadvantaged people. So you want to enhance the opportunity, the business of carbon population. So you've already taken care of the supply side and you're still taking care of the supply side by the jam that is done by Aadhaar and mobile. Then you have PC model fintech. Now, how do you take care of the ability and willingness? Effective financial literacy campaigns, digital financial literacy campaigns, and here I really look forward to your ideas as to how more can be doing. Familiarity and confidence building, and improving the grievance redress of the. So these are all my final thoughts for addressing the disadvantaged sections of the marginalized sections as to how financial literacy overall and contextual whether it is financial literacy or literacy of consumer protection, how we address that is also very important. So I leave you with this, and we just want to tell all of you that we will also have right. We please check out our website. There's 97 for the patient journey. I'm very sorry for this. Who has come? I just want to clarify.
Thank you, ma'am, for briefly outlining the transformative approach of RBI towards digital financial inclusion. Given the strategies for financial education, the IC. It was indeed a thought-provoking and inspiring method, emphasizing the significance of financial literacy in India's economic growth and development. Our next guest of honor, Professor V. Sudhakar Reddy, Honorary Director, ICSSR SRC. Professor V. Sudhakar Reddy is a distinguished professor of economics and currently serves as the Director of ICSSR SRC, Indian Council of Social Science Research, Southern Regional Center, Hyderabad. This career is marked by a strong commitment by economic excellence, research contributions, and leadership in administrative roles. He obtained his PhD in economics from Osmania University in 1997 on the topic Regional Variations in Agricultural Development of Andhra Pradesh, for which he earned gold medal for the best result in the Faculty of Economics, Commerce, and Management. He has a master's degree in economics, BA degree, and bachelor's degree in EPG from Osmania University. His recipient of UGC Net in Economics, Professor Sudhakar Reddy has held various administrative professions, demonstrating his leadership and organizational skills, some of which include Principal, University Teaching College, Secunderabad, Dean, Faculty of Social Sciences, Telangana University, Joint Director, Directorate of Academic College, Osmania University, Chairman DOS, Department of Economics, Osmania University, and many more. Under his able guidance, 14 PhDs were awarded, and 5 of his scholars have been qualified for ICSSR postdoctoral fellowship. He has worked on several research projects, including a major research project on women empowerment and non-governmental organizations. A case study was conducted with the development programs in Andhra Pradesh, sponsored by UGC New Delhi. Apart from his academic and administrative roles, he has actively participated in co-curricular activities and served as an NCC officer in the A Wing Number 1 A Squadron NCC Secunderabad from 2008 to 2021. Professor Sudhakar Reddy has been an invited speaker at several prestigious forums covering a wide range of topics, including economic reforms, entrepreneurship, rural development, and many more. He has contributed significantly to academic literature with 23 publications in reputed journals on diverse subjects such as women empowerment, farmers' suicide, globalization, and the impact of economic reforms. He has co-authored and co-edited several books. He has organized several seminars and conferences. His teaching interests include microeconomics, international economics, and economics. Dr. V. Sudhakar Reddy is an active member of various professional bodies such as the Indian Society of Labour Economics, Andhra Pradesh Economic Association, or the Economic Association, and the Indian Institute of Public Administration, IIPA, in New Delhi. Welcome, Mr.
This is the proper. Context. It's for you. Doctor India. Twenty 47. Understand what all we achieved and how to transform its nation and development. The consumer movie has tuned in very right topic, development dialogue, transform markets. Solution. Pain. India is the fifth largest one open. Very right, pointed out. Absolutely fine. Sometimes the involvement of the market is not, but it's more than the correct. Things, true potential of the public policy initiatives by the central government aim the transformation of the nation to develop environment based on the public discourse. Has been over the last few years. It is in this context, Indian Council for Social Science Research through its regional centers to support the colleges, universities, institutions of different parts of the country, organized with lecture series on the theme Ambedkar Emerge and Progress. But the term Ambedkar is not just a mere title, it carries a profound significance and a wisdom, reflection, and development India in 2047. In the context of development and achievement so far, the Ambedkar and the vision becomes the development nation in 2047. Thus, the overall inclusion of equitable growth and development, various sectors, the campuses. The Ambedkar is any initiative respect to the government's public policy, one of the mantra to achieve the successful implementation of development scale. The process, in fact, the results of development actions require academic engagements to review, reimagining them in the context of leadership policy 2047. Vice Chancellors are proposing to facilitate discourse dialogue action in our educational institutions and research institutes in the development of the nation. English faculty and students may form a public sphere around the grassroots transformation, fast growing developmental scenario to India. Please, making public sphere made in collaboration with the respective colleges to facilitate a discussion in development policy making and implementation. These public ventures may encourage public discussion through comments, queries, question answers, and give them a new imagination towards achieving the goal of 2047. These efforts may sensitize and motivate our academicians to look up our country and contribute to making a development. Then the ecosystem reverse, which leader creating this scholar by 2047. fulfilling three of the work for this summer, India has been active in various initiatives, policies aimed at achieving sustainable development, urbanization, human empowerment. As one of the world's most populous countries, India faces significant challenges. India has centered development related policies, initiatives such as the National Action Plan of Climate Change, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Pradhan Mantri Yojana, Solar Mission, Make in India, Smart Certification, National Mission, Clean Ganga, and Digital India to harness the power of technology and device. These initiatives and policies demonstrate India's commitment to address the challenges of sustainable development, including environmental conservation, power generation, and social security. A critical component of this legal development is the transformation of marginalized sections through the powerful tool of digital analysis processes, which plays a characteristic role in shaping the future of our country. In 21st century, technology has become an equalizer. There are a lot of disparities, differences among the states, among the nations, among the sections of the 21st century, technology has become equalizer, breaking down the barriers and connecting the people of the geography. Digital financial literacy is not merely about just understanding how to use smartphones or access the internet. It is about empowering the users the knowledge to navigate the complex landscape of digital finance, ensuring they are not left behind. In the digital age, where we live, where the transformation goes like a river and technology shapes the landscape of our daily life. Yes, the key to unlocking the tools of empowerment for the online lives is the digital financial literacy. The digital financial literacy is not merely about using smartphones and understanding internet banking, but about providing the tools of knowledge necessary to navigate complex world of finance in the digital age. It is about enabling individuals regardless of their background to make informed decisions about their finances, investments, and savings. By importing digital financial literacy, we empower the marginalized practice of financial literacy. We provide them with the ability to access banking services, understand digital transactions, and participate in the common economy. The beauty of digital financial literacy is that it is not limited to the constraints. Through digital means, we can reach any corner of the country, ensuring that every citizen, irrespective of their nation, has the opportunity to learn and grow. The marginalized sections of our society are often overlooked and undeserved face numerous challenges. But with limited access to the financial services, lack of education, or a general unawareness of our opportunity with the digital world present. However, we are the future where this technology will be harnessed at the core of the positive change. The transformation of marginalized section to digital financial is not just a necessity, it's our collective responsibility. It is a step towards creating Bharat Capital Public where everybody is physically and the knowledge and the tools to participate actively in the digital economy. Together, let us ensure that no one is left behind. That as we approach 2027, the journey has been one of the progress, inclusion, and prosperity for all. But it's already that the predictions will transform the market. The rate of approach and the further implement task allowing the thank for this compliment and enthusiasm. Always I see it as support of the lectures. In fact, it's a prudent decision to keep dialogue and transform marginalized sections to digital and as a part of debates and discussion what achieved or should be future course of our action related to the inclusive development in the last life and financial. I am sure dialogue and transforming marginalized section digital financial of based by importance and attitude issue as multiple societal implications. One is now proven to result from eminent person, the chief place that Dr. Janikaram and Director IDR can explain with the technological survey, you can explain all the issues related to financial literacy or to achieve financial literacy 100%. This keyword, thanks to one and all, is in the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us on transforming marginal section to digital financial literacy and the need for its development timeline. It is now my privilege to introduce the chief guest of the day, Professor Margaginalized, Director, Institute for Development and Research in Banking Technology, IDRBT, Hyderabad. Professor Margaginalized has took over as the Director of IDRBT on January 20, 2021. Professor Margaginalized brings such an intense experience in direct relevance, banking and financial technology. A PhD from IIT Delhi, who was awarded the Boycott Fellowship in 1997, the IBM Faculty Award in 2007, Yahoo Faculty Grant in 2009, and JC Bose Innovation Best Time Award of the Year 2022. He is a board member of Reserve Bank Innovation Hub, Data Security Council of India, Indian Institute of Banking and Finance, IIT Karnal, Senate member of IIT Trichy, and member of governing body, Technology Innovation Hub, IIT Gujarat, Subcommittee of Securities and Exchange Board of India, and Reserve Bank of India. He has served as a board studies member in several universities, some of which are VIT University, Cochin University of Science and Technology, Anna University, Andhra University, SV University, JNU Hyderabad, and academic council member of Hindustan University. Professor Margaginalized's scholarly contributions include editing 6 books, over 150 research papers, guiding 14 PhDs, over 36 MS research, and 70 MTech students. His books on grid computing, building large-scale software systems, grid and cloud computing are very well received. He was an editor of several reputed journals, executive council member of Cloud Innovation Council, and a fellow of Computer Society of India. He was involved in starting various conferences, including the IEEE Cloud Computing for Emerging Markets and Urban Data Science. He has steered many nationally important research projects with success. He was a principal investigator for a number of projects, including Mobitel, Mobile Telemedicine for Rural India, which is an Indo-German project, Peer-to-Peer Concept Search, which is an Indo-Italian collaborative project, and more. Notably, his innovation, the minimalistic object-oriented Linux mode, has several US patents and is licensed to Diamond Bay Technologies, an incubated company in IIT Madras Research Park. The core LLP startup with licensing agreement with IIT Madras promotes the more technologies globally, including the secure Android operating system for mobile devices. Professor Margaginalized is also technical advisor for 2 Bay Area startup companies, Quantum Venture INC and Equinox. Prior to joining IDRBT, he was a senior professor at the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, IIT Madras, and a visiting professor at the Rochester Institute of Technology in US. His current research focus is on building large-scale distributed systems and challenges in big data processing, along with cloud computing and blockchain technologies.
So we welcome you to deliver a keynote address on transforming marginalized sections through digital financial inclusion.
To actually, need to start in a little more interactive fashion, see, what literacy really means, Because it's all about communication between mind to mind. So one needs to understand teaching and learning process is more about communicating with one mind to the other mind. I'm very thankful to IT, especially for inviting me and making me come here to share my thoughts on the digital financial literacy. As you can see from my biodata, I'm a hardcore technology person. Only my entry into the identity brought me face to face with the financial system. Though I have been interacting technology fronts with a large number of banks and other entities. But what I would like to bring here is basically two aspects. This is an umbrella call very much that's the title, And I think our Honorable Prime Minister has started this December 11th with all the educational institutes with the theme that, Vikasit Bharat at 2047. Why is this umbrella call? If you look at a little bit carefully, this is umbrella call because India is at a very sweet spot in terms of the demographic dividend. I think 69% roughly of the population is in the 50 to 64 age group, which is the working age of the population. And very few countries are in this, demographic dividend sweet spot. Whenever an economy has moved through this dividend, demographic dividend, it has made large amounts of progress. In fact, researchers suggest that 15% of the economic progress has come during the demographic dividend period. And India's demographic dividend is going to be next few decades. So that's where it becomes umbrella for us. And we should make best use of this period to make sure that we progress and lean forward to become developed country. That's where basically this is, in my opinion, called umbrella, and then our Prime Minister rightly actually, asked all educational institutes to energize the youth and then make them part of this development process, which is very, very important. We should not lose this period, and we should work, we should do whatever is possible to make sure we reach the demographic dividend that we are passing through. Now, given this, I think, that's also one reason why I thought as a professor I should come here and address the students, because you are the key element in this entire scheme of things, of making India a developed nation, because it's Bharat at 2047. A couple of things which I would like to again highlight. Vikasit Bharat, Vikasit is actually a Sanskrit term in some sense, Sanskrit word. And Vikasit is not just development, and it doesn't translate to just development. Right? Translates to what is called blossoming of the flower. So in that sense, if you look at our GDP now, we are the 5th largest GDP, and then most of the things we are not in terms of the per capita income, we are not that higher. We need to do a lot of work in terms of raising our per capita income scale. But then these are two dimensions, and we should not just limit ourselves to these two dimensions. But the most important is the Vikasit Bharat concept to translate into the smile of the poorest of the poor. Now, that's the most important thing, because you can't leave the marginalized sections of the society, and then the progress should not be limited to only certain sections of the society. The progress has to be for all sections of the society and more for the poorest of the poor. No? So that's, I think, is something that we need to work on and see how we can achieve that aspect of working with the most marginalized sections of the society who need the support and make sure they're part of the development agenda that we need to ourselves. Now, in terms of just asking you in terms of digital financial literacy, coming to digital financial literacy and why this is going to be critical in terms of making India the richest bar of 2047. How many of you have bank accounts? Almost all of you bank accounts. How many of you access the bank account with your digital app on your mobile phone? That's also almost all of you. How many of you actually do investment using that digital app? I think that's also, I see quite a few hands going down. No, right? Now, in terms of investment, how many of you actually invest in mutual funds? That's about 5 of you now, right? How many of you actually switch from one mutual fund to the other mutual fund using your phone? That's at least a couple of you, right? So in terms of, that's very interesting, I just wanted to gauge how much digital literacy is there in this audience here, right? Now let me go a little more deeper and ask this question. How many of you actually have the CBDC app on your mobile phone? How many of you have the CBDC app on the mobile? Central Bank Digital Currency app, which the RBI has started recently. How many of you have that app on your phone? I don't see anyone in this place having the CBDC app. Okay. Anybody on the dais have the CBDC app? I think from the one from the RBI, yes, colleague from the RBI has the CBDC app. Now, look at this whole issue of what is digital, and why digital is becoming the most important thing. Actually, I was trying to prepare my notes for this lecture, and I typed it the whole thing, and then realized that I just made it to myself because I can use this phone to actually. I no longer carry a paper paper. The whole thing is on my mobile. Okay. And then I realized that I didn't put I didn't save my Word files, which was not made to be the full version. So I was on the car. I just opened my laptop and then saved that Word file and then made again that one back to me, and then the thing is on my phone. This is where digital makes things completely different. Of course, I'm a tech savvy person, but then if you look at it, the way the whole thing is changing, especially the youth should realize it used to take a lot of time for you to make your slides, right? Now, it was one of the most, I always used to use my students in making my slides, At least, give them the content and the rest of it, after I came to idea, somebody is actually doing the background, and I tell him this is what I want the pieces and all that. I used to put everything on the slides. Now look at with the generating AI, which is integrated with your slide making thing. It gives beautiful overlays, and then which cannot be done by any normal. It beats all the kind of people that I have in my office. I no longer need that. I just use that to actually do my slides on the fly when I'm going. I just put it, and then beautiful slides I can make without the support of all the other people. It used to be very time consuming. Now you can see how the digital world is transforming, and the digital age, where we live now, how it is transforming things globally. This is something the youth should be particularly aware of, because you are at an age where the skills that you will be requiring to navigate the digital world there was a question previously. How many people have Instagram account? I think most of you have put your hand up. Same thing with Facebook. How many are actually on Facebook? It goes up. Okay. If I ask how many of you have WhatsApp, I think first of all of you will raise your hands. How many of you actually pay something using WhatsApp or do something productive using WhatsApp? I suspect anybody is using WhatsApp for productive stuff here. Do you find WhatsApp very productive or very, destructive? How many vote for WhatsApp being very improving and destructive? How many say, I think there's one guy up there who says that WhatsApp is there. Now, in fact, I know people who have actually deleted WhatsApp from their phone, including, I think, my wife. He said it's very, very, intrusive and not very good as far as he's concerned. I think this is where digital, the way the young generation is adopting the digital on one side, and the other side, what is exactly happening to their skill sets? I think these are two important things that we should be understanding. And this is part of the digital literacy that we see as part of, that's a digital literacy. How do we navigate the digital world? Now, all these, emojis and then, with my daughters, it's always now only communication with emojis. Okay. They sit there and then they just put there all that. So it's a new world of communication when you start seeing you're working in the digital space. Digital space also, how many likes you have got, how many this thing, and what is the communication etiquette in the digital world. All these things are actually something that are occupying the mental space and also the skills of the people. Right? That's important. That one part is understanding the digital navigation skills is very important. The other most important part is not just the digital literacy of that level, which is sometimes we need like basic communication skills now. These have to be part of your modern digital age, netizens, what we call, you have to be part of it, you need to learn all of this, right? Now the key question is, what is digital financial literacy? Of course, this is first thing, I saw in Madam Tamanna's listing that, there were some attempts to define what is digital financial literacy. I think the Osaka G20, as I see the report of G20 Osaka, they actually made some attempt to say first time, what is digital financial literacy? What are the core things that are required for a human being in terms of the financial space? As I understand from them, the core competencies are earning, saving, investing, spending, borrowing, and protecting. These are the 5 skills as far as finance is concerned. People would like to have these 5 services. All these 5 services are they going to get drastically impacted by digital? The answer is yes. Because this is where basically we need to understand where the world is moving and where the skills need to be imparted. A lot of students sitting here, for example, many of you said that you are using the apps for investing. One good thing is now, even 100 rupees, you can start a SIM for 100 rupees, and then which is generally can be a pocket money, and then you can use your app to actually buy cabs or any of these apps. Late in the night, you decide, okay, this is this big cap or a small cap or whatever cap, is a good place to invest. This is where you learn. You start now investing. If you look at investing, saving and investing has completely changed the digital world. The opportunities that you get to actually experiment, the opportunities to actually learn to master that skill, I think has completely now transformed the digital age. Same thing with your banking, app, for example. People no longer actually, physically try to access the bank, but then an app, mobile app becomes all in all. For example, SBI YONO app. How many of you here actually have a YONO app? I think that's large number, right? For you, actually, the physical bank has been replaced by the YONO app.
And you can see what are the kind of stuff that they actually provide there. They actually provide you investment, not just banking. They actually provide you investment. They provide you all other services, including, for example, for me, most of my pension contributions actually go through that as well, right? So all the financial planning just becomes part of your app, part of your just simple app, right? Now this completely transforms, the way people are going to work on the financial services, the way they're going to actually interact with the financial world, Here, I will come to two levels here. One is something that, is not so sophisticated learning is required, right? It's a very, easy to learn kind of thing. Why did UPI succeed? UPI just simply succeeded because it's a very easy to adopt, and then people can easily understand how to actually work with the UPI app, Most of the time we don't carry cash anymore, right? At least I don't carry cash anymore. I don't remember actually withdrawing cash for a very long time. Again, I have a question: how many of you actually carry cash now? Still? How many don't carry cash at all? That sounds a large number. I think they actually outnumber those who don't carry cash at all. Outnumber those who carry still cash. This is a change. That's what we should see. What digital is taking. Digital is actually replacing the physical cash. The need for that is gone now, right? In more or less, of course, it's still proliferation, and we need to understand the pockets where this change is still not completely happening, and that's where I come to the marginalized sections and then see what we should be doing when the journey of digitalization is going at such a fast pace, Now, if you look at the UPI, for example, now we are touching a few billion transactions per month, billion, not just. This is actually something that India has done, and we should feel proud about what has happened with RBI and NPCI, how we have been able to build the UPI infrastructure, right? This is what we call in India the public good infrastructure. The public good infrastructure was built by the government, on which a lot of private players can innovate. That's how the Indian ecosystem, financial ecosystem started developing. You see that completely different model as opposed to what has happened in the Western societies and also our neighbor China. For example, in China, the Alipay was the most successful thing, but then it's actually a private, the money is into the private hands, and then there are issues, and then they have to actually, take control of it. That's where basically, that didn't work out nicely. If you go to the Western side, Facebook, which all have accounts, they wanted to, take control of what the finance part of it by actually initially trying to start their own currency called Libra, and later changed into Dime, but then Fed actually felt that this will actually create all kinds of issues, and then so that was not actually allowed. But in India, actually, we had a very good model in terms of having a public good infrastructure. That means the government actually builds the basic infrastructure, invest in that basic infrastructure, on which a lot of private players can actually innovate. This is the kind of digital financial system that we have built. A very good model India has created, which is becoming a role model for the rest of the other countries to follow. For example, you see Google Pay. Most of the things are now. We use, how many of you use Google Pay? I think this is what actually, even for a Adobe, you are just paying with the Google Pay. And then most of the donation fellows are also chasing me nowadays because the Google Pay became easy. Now I say you can easily donate. So there are flip sides of some of this digital technology that come in and relate to that and see what literacy has been done. But India's model has been build the digital public good infrastructure on which you innovate. That is something that the tech stack that we've been able to build has been extremely successful in creating this large ecosystem. Now that's thanks to RBI and NPCI, who have actually, of course, NPCI is a creation of IDRBT, it's basically a lot of it we should take because, all these are basically, our children in some sense. So in that sense, I can take pride in saying that all this innovation actually has happened from IDRBT, which is the place which I currently, head. It come to actually now the literacy part and see what we need to do with this literacy part. There are marginalized sections of the people, for example, you always suspect when you use these digital channels for the first time. Should I trust? Am I actually doing the right thing? Did I lose my money or what's going to happen? And then, for example, when you want to cash out from the mutual funds, will the money will finally come into my account or will it get lost somewhere? And what do I do if I get lost? All these questions will come when we transform into the digital world. Okay. Now, I think more importantly, what we should see is there are several marginalized sections of the society, and we should not leave any of that. Digital journey at a fast pace we are moving. But then elderly people, not so well-educated people, in fact, the right definitions have been given, the wise, people who are actually wise, illiterate, and then all that, different categories. But whatever the category, you can't leave them out. You have to somehow see how to bring them in, This is where I think this American University is a very interesting thing. And in fact, when Professor Ramakrishnan came to my office, he said that we need to discuss this and see if we have a way by which this can be addressed, We certainly need some out-of-box thinking. One thing is, India has this large number of youth. Employment generation is very, very important. So from that perspective, when these digital literates, digital financial literates are there, and you learn all these, we need to actually create what I believe is the financial services hubs, which will sort of help the marginalized sections accelerate, with a small fee. If you're able to do this, you create an employment for these digital finance literates. At the same time, you help all these marginalized sections in terms of how they can use these digital financial services. For example, the easy to use is the UPI and all that. For example, if you look at a street vendor program now, the street vendor program has all the elements of getting the money into your general account, and then using that to actually receive the money from the customers. And at a later stage, this trail of the UPI transactions could be the basis for extending the credit to the person. Because that's where basically you get a complete transformation of the lowest strata, the bottom of the pyramid people, in terms of how we can transform them using this digitalization. Access to credit becomes the key element, because it becomes a basic need. For example, for students, access to credit is for their education. For the lowest of the people, lowest rung of the people, access to credit, even 100 rupees or 1,000 rupees access to the credit, very easy access to the credit, becomes a necessity going forward. If we have to actually move into Viksit Bharat by 2047, we need to understand how we are going to create this access to quality credit. That's the most important thing, For everyone, access to credit becomes a basic need, How are we going to create that as we move forward, I think these are basic skills of how digital financial literacy needs to be created. One part is the financial innovation, and the other part is how we actually create this literacy, One of the things that we always were worried with the CBDC is central bank digital currencies, how people will understand that concept. Basically, because now the physical notes are replaced with the electronic notes, signed by the Reserve Bank of India. So one important thing is how do we communicate to the general masses? So they should not be in the process. No, get a concept, somebody trying to take it or do something, other than what is intended is very, very important. So it's a very calculated, very, very systematic way in which it needs to be done, because it's a new concept. It's a completely new concept. Now, how do we take it to people? On one side, they're innovating. On the other side, how do you educate people and then make sure they understand this, and make sure that they adopt this in the right way, That's where I think very, very, this financial literacy becomes extremely critical as they're innovating on new stuff. You don't want, in the process, create any kind of issues, because if somebody is able to take this and do something, it becomes a big problem. Here I cite one example. How many of you are familiar with the digital loan apps? Right? This is actually digital loan apps is one example where people started borrowing because it's very easy to borrow on a digital loan app. There's a loan app, and then it creates a bad behavior in terms of people not reading all the conditions very, very carefully. There's an access to credit. And so basically, on the click of the button, the money comes to you. But later, you will start facing all the problems, including the unscrupulous elements getting access to your phone contacts and then trying to create other kinds of issues, which led to even some people committing suicide. At that point of time, everybody sat up and said, these digital loan apps need to be regulated, and then we need to look at things very, very carefully as far as digital loan apps is concerned. The biggest pay-to-pay lending, which became a big success in China, went tremendous problems, and then they actually had to deal with pay-to-pay lending problems. Again, digital lending, which went out of control, and they actually had to do a lot of work to actually make sure that the damage is controlled. So on one side, sometimes people ask me this question, if digital has all this risk associated with it, do we have an option of not going digital? Okay, that option doesn't exist anymore, because digital has so many advantages in terms of actually, if you look at your bank late in the night, you can actually access it, look at your account bank balances. If you want to do an FD, you can convert that into an FD. You want to change it to mutual fund, you can change it to mutual fund. So you actually get so much control on your personal financial planning, right? And this is where basically you need to understand digital opens up a completely different paradigm as far as the financial systems are concerned. And we are seeing that moment happening. That's what we should be exploiting. Now, let me spend a few minutes on what I see as the literacy part. Okay? And then where the literacy challenges will come. Now, I spent 31 years teaching in IIT Madras. We understand the scaling problems. If you take a few billion people and then wants to actually have some minimal skill sets to be imparted to them, the problems are very evident. Teaching and learning process is not scalable. Why is this not scalable? When you actually teach a concept, there are 10 students who are listening to you, 10 students have 10 different gaps in understanding it. Only when they ask you, you know what problem of understanding, where they have lost, and where there is a gap in that concept understanding, and you fill that up. And that's precisely the reason why, by just giving a book, you can't actually make a person a scholar. See, the whole process of learner, teacher, and the learner figuring out whether the concept has gone to the other person correctly is what makes teaching learning process not scalable. And now there are certain skills, very pedagogic skills, that can be imparted very easily through online mode and then other mechanisms, and they are scalable. A lot of sophisticated skills are not scalable at all, you know? And you can't actually teach, for example, very deep mathematical concepts very easily in the online mode. It doesn't work because it doesn't really is a way to go about it. So we need to understand how we are going to do the financial literacy. The basic literacy is possible to be put in a scalable mode, you know. This is what we call as a self-directed learning. I think a lot of innovations that are happening in the digital financial world, self-directed learning is the best model for the individuals to get the learning capabilities. But there are sophisticated things which cannot be easily, for example, investing is a very, very, complex thing. It cannot be just easily translated into basic scale. That's where you need to actually understand there are different levels of skills as far as the digital financial systems are concerned. And we need to find different ways of actually providing these things to the people, Especially at the higher level, what we need to do is we need to create existing models. It is high time we actually go into what is called assistive models for people. For example, most of the assistive models in the digital systems are through basically the IVR systems or other kinds of systems, and they're not really helpful for really the marginalized and the challenged people. What really is required is setting up these digital financial services hubs, where basically one can easily access them. This is not with respect to one particular bank. This can be across banks. And then once you reach there, there is somebody with the required literacy to be able to help you to actually access and navigate through this, And that is where basically we need to rethink, certainly in terms of how we will bring in the marginalized and not so advantageous sections into our digital world. That's, I think, requires careful thought in my opinion. For example, IIT Madras Bhashini is a good example of the voice translation. In fact, I think, I'm actually 2014 when I was in Korea giving an invited talk. There was a real-time translation going to all the people. When I'm talking in English, the Korean translation real-time is going to the people. That is possible in India now. This can bridge the gap of not learning in the local language. For example, our first year students sometimes a challenge that I can do. If they have such a kind of a system where the translation can happen automatically, the learning can go leaps and bounds. This is something those technology solutions now are available. But what we need to see is how are we going to bring these technology solutions and how are we going to actually plan the digital financial literacy as a holistic concept. On one side, the financial education will continue because what you see currently is continuously changing, right? On the other side, for example, the CBDC allows you to now, if you look at the CBDC app, you can choose 20 rupees, 100 rupees, 200 rupees note, and then put it as it is in your wallet. Okay? That physical parts is now replaced with the CBDC app because you choose your notes and then put it there. And you can also spend in a similar way. What is the bigger thing that you get? For example, you can't store 1 lakh rupees in your house because it will. Sometimes you want some money as a backup other than bank. You want it to be stored. But you can't store your 1 lakh rupees in your house because it's prone to death, right? But when you store this 1 lakh rupees in a CBDC app, okay, then I think it's very, very safe because it's in a digital form. It is maintained. It is RBI notes, which you are storing, not the bank money. Bank money can disappear if the bank, something happens to the bank, but then these notes are guaranteed by RBI. So they are actually saving your like us. Okay. So this is a new concept that's available. And people will start adopting it. When we give this concept, there are so many youth here sitting here listening to me. They go back and they experiment and they come up with new use cases, right? For example, when you are investing in CPC app, so how many of you are actually withdrawn money, cashed out money on stocks on mutual funds? Many of you raised your hand when I said, are you investing in mutual funds? How many raised their hands? How many are actually invested in mutual funds here? One, the last question. Now, did you try cashing out any time from the mutual funds? Anyone tried cashing out? Yes, no. Yes, sir. So how much time it takes for you to get the money back into your account? T+1, it's actually T+2 generally, of course, you're lucky if you got it in T+1, okay? Most of the time it is T+2, the settlement and all that process, right? Now, if you're using the, CBDCs, you should get instant settlement, still it's not there. That's a new form of actually, how you can settle, because the settling with the cash, okay, it's instant, right? Whereas any bank money, the settlement happens with the layer, settlement layer that is out there, and then it takes some time for the settlement to happen. Now, this is a completely new concept. That's how things are changing. So, what you should be doing is, you should be looking at these changes very, very critically. The youth should be looking at these changes very, very critically and absorb the implications of this. And these are the things that's where the innovation can happen at a very, very tremendous speed. It's an opportunity that India has got now with the financial systems. The way the financial systems are changing, with thanks to RBI foresight, but RBI foresight is what created IDRT. But no other regulator has an institute set up for itself. Whereas RBI had actually set up in 1996 this Institute for Development and Research in Banking Technology. It's such a foresight. And a lot of innovation that happened there is what you see into the entire digital financial system. And we ourselves have incubated it. NPCI and then STARS, all these are incubations that came out of IDRT. Thanks to RBI's vision and thinking that this is what the whole digital space that is going to evolve and come out. And that's where the banking technology has become very, very critical. With this, finally, what I will end up is for India to actually get to Viksit Bharat by 2047. To me, digital is very, very key. Okay? Without digital, adopting digital at a level, we won't be able to move into that space. And then nobody except the youth who have to play a very, very large role in this journey. And I hope this talk inspires some of you and also energizes some of you to get into the financial space, understand the digital financial space, and contribute both to innovation and also literacy. With these few thoughts, thank you very much for the opportunity that was given to me to share my thoughts with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for envisioning the future landscape of digital financial literacy and inclusion in India. That truly inspired by a forward-thinking approach towards shaping a digitally and financially inclusive future for our nation. With the permission of our speakers, we now open the floor for audience from questions. If there are any questions, please raise your hand and the volunteer will pass the mic to you. Let's all engage in a fruitful exchange of ideas.
Sir was talking about CBDC, so because sir was involved in the development of CBDC career, then all of you said you don't have the app. So I quickly, texted my backpage over there in my looking up the CBDC. He actually said that there are only 13 banks right now who are doing the pilot. So what you can do is probably go to Google Play Store and put, your bank and digital rupees. So I think you have SBI, ICICI, 13 banks like this who have got, so you can download, it becomes a wallet. And now you also have the operation with your QR code. So you can also use CBDC to do your transaction using the QR code. So just go to, I think I'll give you the list of the banks also, so that it's easier for you to then figure out which banks in case if you know people are going like that. So you have SBI, ICICI, IDFC First Bank, Yes Bank, HDFC, Union Bank of India, Bank of Baroda, Kotak Mahindra, Canara, Axis, IndusInd, PNB, and Federal Bank. So these banks were actually brought up for the pilot testing. And if you go to App Store and click, SBI and digital, you will get that particular icon. You download that icon, that becomes your CBDC wallet. You authenticate it through your debit card. And basically, you can send it's like me giving 20 rupees to sir, you can take transaction with that particular denomination in the app, in the CBDC wallet.
In fact, no, RBI recently used Amitabh Bachchan to promote CBDC. In fact, he gave a nice introduction on CBDC. And I think it's a very well made advertisement by RBI uses Amitabh Bachchan to promote it. Yeah, I think it's still in a closed user group fashion, so the bank should actually send you a message to include you. But then if you're lucky, I think you should get in touch with the bank and ask them to give that app so that you can experiment with the app. It's a slow process. We are in the process of expanding. RBI is actually now trying to get 1 million transactions, to happen on that, so that we understand fully how it is functioning.
As we come to the end of the enlightening session, it's now time to honor our distinguished guests. I now request Mr. Srinivas Murthy sir to present a token of gratitude to Ms. Tamanna Macharya. I now request the I now request the director, sir, to present a token of gratitude to Professor Janaki Ranga. May I now call upon Dr. Swati Thakur from the organizing team to propose vote of thanks.
A very warm good afternoon to everyone. Excited, learn something new today. All are going to download the app today. Yes? So let's start today with the CBDC app from today onwards. So with the immense gratitude, I extend my heartfelt thanks to all the participants who have made this event a success. A special thanks to our Professor Srinivasa for guiding us exactly for having this program a great success today. Our esteemed guest, Ms. Tamanna from RBI, Professor Sudhakar Reddy from ICTSR, and Professor Janaki from IDRBT for their valuable insights. And Ms. Tamanna has already come down from Mumbai and with her valuable time to highlight it all the ways where RBI is trying to go for financial inclusion. And what the best she said was the different illiterates we have, the wise illiterates, the information illiterates, and the illiterate illiterates. So all of them in a different approach that was very well appreciated. And our guest of honor, Professor Sudhakar Reddy, for sponsoring this initiative. I feel Siddharth has always helped us and supported for having an initiative at IB. Our chief guest, Professor Janaki Ram, the director of IRBT, for taking his precious time for being here today. It's our privilege, sir. And he basically highlighted that the India is at the demographic dividend sweet spot, which is leading us to the Amrit Kaal. We should harness this demographic dividend to blossom into Amrit Kaal. Viksit Bharat should lead to a smile on the faces of the poorest of the poor in India. And what can be done to build easy to learn financial ecosystem for including the marginalized section of our population? That easy to learn is, I think, the most important piece which we have to learn to see that it reaches the marginalized population. The importance of scaling problem which we see and for promoting financial literacy. And we highlighted for preparing the assisted model for overcoming this scaling issue. And also, I want to thank Professor Ramakrishna, who relentlessly worked for the success of the event. A big hand of applause for him. Nandakishore, Kamakshi, Shreya, Rajesh, Nalini, Tarun Tej, Sri Lalit, Sayed Sham Fatima, Sai Sarvani, for ensuring the seamless execution of the event in a very short time after completing the travel. We are even grateful to all of our participants who have their active engagement and enthusiasm and the eagerness to learn. And I hope you'll have enriched from this experience today. We'd like to thank our support staff who have worked hard to make this event a comfortable and enjoyable. Thank you again. Thank you.
I'm calling the organizing team on the stage for the photograph. Thank you. Yes.